Hey Kings Hill family, I hope this video finds you well. I hope that this video finds you blessed today. I want to spend just a couple minutes walking through a verse from Hebrews chapter 1. This is verse 3. Jesus is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature, and he upholds the universe by the word of his power. Such a powerful verse from a book that was written to primarily a Jewish believing audience. And so throughout the book of Hebrews, the author seeks to demonstrate how Jesus is superior to the system of laws that we see in the Old Testament, because Jesus ushered in a new covenant. And he begins with this statement that Jesus is the very essence of God's nature. And another translation says that he is the perfect expression of God's character. But I love how the verse ends. He upholds the universe by the word of his power, which involves a lot. Upholding a universe is a mighty task. But what I really want to focus on is that universe upholding king has extended friendship to you. And through his life, death, and resurrection, that universe upholding king has made a way to welcome you in as an adopted child. And I would just encourage you to dwell on that. Encourage all of us to seek to make that a meditation on a daily basis, that the sovereign, ruling, supreme being came to earth in the form of a man and humbled himself to give his life as a ransom for many, yes, but as a ransom for you. And returning continually to the gospel is just what is going to sustain us. And another translation, the New Living Translation, when it says he upholds the universe by the word of its power, it translates it as he sustains. And I think about how the Christian life requires endurance and stamina, and we require much to be sustained as we seek to be faithful in this life. But as Jesus upholds the universe by his words of power, think about how he upholds us with his promises. One of the clearest examples I can think of comes from this study that we recently finished as a church, going through the seeking the kingdom principles. And in Matthew 6, when Jesus is talking about seeking the kingdom, he gives a command. He says, seek first the kingdom of God. But he couples that command with a promise. Seek first the kingdom of God. And the promise is that everything that we're prone to worry about, food, clothing, shelter, all those things will be taken care of. I think about another place where you can clearly see it is the Great Commission in Matthew chapter 28. Jesus gives a command. He says, go therefore and preach the gospel to every nation. But what promise does he give to sustain that work? I will be with you. So whenever Jesus gives a direct command, or in Hebrews, a word of power, he always couples that with a word of promise. And so I would love for all of us to just meditate on that for a moment. The king who created stars and galaxies and planets, and decided that planets would have gravity, and decided that the color spectrum, and created musical notes that pair together well to give it a soothing sound. That creating God is your God, and he's your shepherd, and he's your friend, and he's kind and gracious. So if we ever think about God in a scary way, or we're afraid of him, or we don't feel as if he's approachable, it's because we haven't spent time really reflecting on the character of Jesus. Because the Bible's clear, God's perfect character is revealed in the person of Jesus. And so I would just push us all to reflect on Jesus, to meditate on him, to dwell on who he is, on his power and his character. It's the old song that I sang at my church growing up. Maybe you're familiar with it. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face. And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace.